You are listening to the Berry Thoughtful Life Coaching Podcast with relationship life coach Kanisha Berry. You will be empowered, uplifted, and encouraged. Now, here's your host, Kanisha.
Hello, Berry Thoughtfuls. So, Iyanla Vanzant has a quote that says, "Until you heal from the wounds of your past, you will continue to bleed." When I first heard that quote, it really struck me, like it really stood out to me. And it made me begin to think about and reflect on my life. What are these wounds of my past, right? So today I want to ask you, what are the wounds of your past that you are continuing to bleed out? And you may think, well, I've just ignored or stuffed my wounds of my past, or I don't have any wounds of my past. We all do. Listen, none of us are exempt. The thing is, some of us have suffered greatly in our past, in our childhood. There are people who have been raped, molested, abused, neglected, abandoned. And I don't mean like emotionally abandoned. I mean literally left alone as a child. Then there are those who just felt abandoned, where maybe the parents was present but weren't emotionally available to you. All of those things affect the way we begin to grow up and see life. And I believe that all of life is working, that God is using life to heal us and to awaken us to who He is and to help us to realize that those broken parts, the hurt that happened because of human interaction, can only be healed through Him. But here's the thing, until we are aware of how we're bleeding out, how those wounds of the past are bleeding, many times we become numb to the past. So what are some of the ways that your wounds are bleeding out or may be bleeding out? For many of us, it could be drugs, alcohol, sex, unhealthy relationships. People overshop, overindulge in food, pornography. Even just taking your time and numbing out by watching TV all day. Then there are some ways that appear positive, like there are people who avoid their hurts by becoming workaholics, overachievers, doing the most and never being satisfied. There is some way that if you are avoiding your hurt of the past, that it is speaking in your life. And oftentimes, that is going to show up in your marriages. It's going to show up in your relationships with others. It may be even showing up in the relationships that you're having with your children. So I encourage you, as you've heard me say over and over again, please do all you can to heal. No person is perfect. No one. I don't believe that as long as we're on this earth, we will ever get to a place where all the wounds are healed and we're fine. But there is an amazing blessing in moving through life, being aware of the hurt and the pain that you've had in the past, how it is affecting your present, and in choosing to make choices that it doesn't bleed into the other areas of your life, that you're not bleeding out on your spouse by sucking up all the air in the room because you need full attention, or that you're not pulling at your spouse to constantly have sex because you want to avoid feeling moments of loneliness, even though there's a person right there in your room, because the loneliness is attached to some past pain. I just want you to get that God's plan for your life requires you to be emotionally healed. Again, healing is a process. It's not a one and done. And He's always awakening us to those parts in our life, those areas in our life that is bleeding out on other areas, that's causing us to miss many of the blessings that He has for us. And I don't want you to miss them. He says, the greater is He that is in me, that is in the world. That tells me that we can overcome almost anything with Him. Also, Jesus said that He came that we may have life and have it abundantly. Abundance is to overflow, to have joy, to have peace abundantly. So I ask you, are you abundant in joy? Are you abundant in peace or in love? Or do you spend most of your time in worry and hurt and frustration? Those are the indicators that there is something wrong. So I encourage you to pay attention to the indicators. Get back in alignment with God. I'm not saying that you're completely out of it. I'm just saying, for me, when my mind is all over the place, when I'm worried excessively, when I can't sleep because thoughts are bombarding me, I know that I'm out of alignment, not because of something that I've done intentionally, just because I maybe let my mind wander. I haven't prayed, meditated, spent time in the peace and the love of God. And so what I love about God is that instantly, anywhere, whether I'm in the car, whether I'm by myself, whether I'm in a crowd, God is always available. And all it takes is to just get in a place of quietness. And you could be in a loud crowd, but within yourself, find that inner peace, that quietness, to just say, thank you, God. Come in. Be with me. Be present with me. Fill me up. Lord, I will not move until I feel your presence. And he's such a loving, gracious God that he will come and he will be present with you. And he will begin to fill those empty places and help you move from his love instead of from your bleeding wounds. So I thank you so much for listening. I am Kenesha Berry. I am a life coach and a pastoral counselor. If there's ever any time you know that you need help with this, feel free to reach out. You can find me at berrythoughtfullife.com. And also go there and get my free ebook, Miracle Mindset. I would love to work with you. And again, thank you for listening.